In this episode, we are continuing the story of Samudra Manthan as told by Vishwamitra to Rama on their journey towards Mithila. This is one of the best known episodes in the Hindu ancient scriptures narrated in Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavata Purana, and in Vishnu Purana. It is the story of gods and demons coming together to generate Amrit for becoming immortal. With their consistent efforts, though they started with generating the most vicious poison halahala, they ended with generating the best elixir of life which can make them immortal. There is a story which is a prelude to this Samudramanthan story. Once Indra, the king of gods, while riding on his elephant Airavata, met sage Durvasa, who offered him a special garland he took from an apsara. Indra accepted the used garland from the sage as a token of respect and placed it on the trunk of Airavata. The garland attracted some bees because of the scent of the flowers in it, which irritated Airavata. So Airavata threw the garland on the ground. Quick to get anger, Durvasa cursed Indra and all devas to be bereft of all strength, energy, and fortune, as he felt insulted that the garland given by him is thrown on the ground. After this, Indra and all devas lost their glory and became weak. Eventually, when Asuras came to know about this, they waged wars on Devatas. In battles that followed, the Devatas were defeated, and the Asuras, led by King Bali, occupied the whole universe and started controlling everything. The Devas reached out to Vishnu to help them. Lord Vishnu advised them to defeat Asuras strategically by utilizing their own strength against them. This started the quest for Amrit, the elixir of life, the nectar which can make anyone who consumes it immortal. When Asuras also showed interest in Amrit as they too wanted to be immortal, the Devas entered into a pact with the Asuras to jointly churn the ocean for the nectar of immortality and to share it among themselves. However, Devatas knew from the beginning that they would take the Amrit all for themselves and not allow Asuras to share. But still, they manipulated Asuras to do the major hard work. Through ages, this is how the intelligent people manipulated the less intelligent to get their works done and give next to nothing in return. If we look at it in a slightly positive angle, we can say that the better people got the prize. Though Devatas were relatively weak, they were more intelligent, more focused, had the support of the Trinity, and are endowed with a good nature and are much better than Danavas. Danavas stood at the head of the Vasuki, took the major toll of the churning, contributed more strength, but at the end, unfortunately, got diverted from their purpose and missed the fruits of their efforts, which could have been a game changer for them. The gods from the beginning knew that the Amrit is not to be given to Danavas. This is because already Danavas have many negative traits and they always took pleasure in harassing and tormenting others. To this, if immortality is added, they will become unstoppable and destroy the whole world. But still, this knowledge did not stop Devatas from utilizing the strength of Danavas in reaching their ultimate goal and finally cheating them out of the purpose. Many lessons can be learned from this story of the churning of the cosmic ocean, which are very much relevant even today. Anyway, let us continue our story. Suras and Asuras went back to their churning of Ksheerasagara after the Halahala has been consumed by Lord Shiva. There was huge havoc in the ocean because of this churning. The breath of Vasuki sent clouds towards its tail, which showered rain on gods and relaxed them from the strenuous work from time to time. But Danavas had no such luck. But still, they continued the churning. Their vigorous churning started producing treasures from the ocean. Various scriptures enumerate 9 to 14 of those precious things, but in Valmiki Ramayana only a few were listed. Let us look at them only here. Others will be discussed in another elaborate episode about Kshirasagara Mathanam. After several years of churning, 60 crores of beautiful, elegant, divine nymphs called Apsaras emerged from the ocean. But none from the gods or Danavas accepted them as their own. So they chose to spread their love and entertain the gods in general. After them, Varuni, the goddess of Sura or intoxication, emerged. Gods accepted her as one of their own. Because they accepted her, the sons of Aditi were called Suras and Danavas were called Asuras from then onwards. Later on, after many further years of churning, out emerged the great Dhanvantari with a stick in one hand and a bowl of Amrit in another. He is a form of Lord Vishnu and is the founder of medicine in Hindu mythology, who took the science of medicine to great heights. Feeling deceived as they did not get anything until then from the churning, Danavas decided they have to keep the Amrit for themselves. Ensuing this, a fierce war broke between Devatas and Danavas for Amrit, in which, at the end, Danavas won due to their sheer strength and took hold of Amrit for themselves. Seeing this, Lord Vishnu called upon his Maya, or power of illusion, and changed into an enchanting damsel, the essence of female beauty and allurement, the wondrous Mohini. Lord Vishnu always took the help of his female Mohini avatar whenever the demons could not be defeated by mere strength and power of gods, but have to be manipulated and disillusioned against their own good. Danavas immediately got attracted towards Mohini. Hearing to her sweet talk and seeing the sweetness she was showering on Danavas, they chose her to decide the dispute between them and gods. They expected that she would distribute the Amrit only to Danavas and will not give to Devatas, as she showed a lot of endearment towards Danavas. She too seduced them so much and made them agree to whatever she was saying. Mohini made Devatas and Danavas sit in two separate lines on opposite sides. Fascinated by her beauty and charm, Danavas put the bowl of Amrit into the hands of Mohini when she said she will distribute to both of them in a systematic way. But when she started distributing Amrit, she first started with Devatas and satisfied Danavas with just her seduction and sweet talk. Being mesmerized by her seduction, Danavas did not observe that she was serving Amrit to only the gods. But one of the Danava called Rahu observed this and slowly went and sat beside sun and moon to get a chance to have Amrit. But the sun god Surya and moon god Chandra identified him and informed Mohini. But by that time Rahu had started drinking the Amrit and it was still in his mouth. Mohini immediately cut off his head with the discus weapon, the Sudarshan Chakra. But as he had Amrit already in his mouth, his head and body remained alive separately, and from then onwards his head was called Rahu and his body was called Ketu. The legend goes that as Surya and Chandra told Mohini about him, Rahu and Ketu are forever chasing both of them and trying to kill them by engulfing them. But both Surya and Chandra always escaped from the open neck of Rahu and Ketu. This is the Hindu legend for the solar and lunar eclipses, which are told even today. When Mohini completed giving Amrit to all gods, Lord Vishnu transformed into his original form and took the Amrit along with him away from the Danavas. Thus, the path for Devas to become all powerful against the Danavas was made easy by Lord Vishnu in the form of Mohini. When Danavas saw the escape of Lord Vishnu with Amrit, they again waged a war against Devatas, but this time due to the power of Amrit, they were easily defeated by Devatas. Seeing the loss of her children, the mother of Danavas, Diti, became very sad and wanted revenge against Devatas. Let us know what she did to meet her goal and what happened finally in the next episode. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.